Into our 10 o'clock bulletin, my name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Let's delve into it. Now, President Museveni has today reiterated the urgent need for African solidarity and increased financial support to Somalia as a key pillar for sustainable peace and stability in the Horn of Africa. The president made these remarks while chairing an extraordinary summit of troop contribution countries, TCCs, to the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia.
The high-level summit brought together leaders and representatives from across the African continent to deliberate the future of Somalia's security, the transition of the African Union Peace Mission, and the broader regional efforts to counter terrorism and restore stability.
Of a collapsed state, we have always advised the Somalis about the concept of a volunteer army for national salvation, not a paid army. This is because a collapsed or a hijacked state will not have capacity to pay monthly salaries for a large enough number of soldiers to secure a large country like Somalia, which is 3 times the size of Uganda in land area.
Reflecting on Africa's own struggles with dictatorship and instability, President Museveni invoked the spirit of Pan-African solidarity that once aided Uganda during the fight against Idi Amin.
I used a small corps of 28 highly trained cadres who were trained for us by Samora Machel of Mozambique between 1976 and 1978 in Mozambique to train a force of 9,000 in just 5 months between the 23rd of October 1978 and the 11th of April 1979 when Amin collapsed in Kampala.
In his keynote address, President Museveni delved deep into the ideological foundations of Uganda's post-conflict recovery, development, and national unity.
We, the wealth creators of this area, produce milk, beef, bananas, fruits, oilseeds, coffee, cotton, etc. You need the East African and the African market. Hence, the second ideological principle of the national resistance movement, our political movement, is Pan-Africanism, prosperity.
He emphasized the 4 guiding principles of the national resistance movement, NRM: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. He cautioned against the politics of identity, sectarianism, and clan divisions. He cautioned against the politics of identity, sectarianism, and clan divisions, warning that these were dangerous distractions that could derail Africa's progress. Commenting on Somalia's challenges, President Museveni criticized the underfunding of the Somali National Army and the African Union Mission, describing it as an underdose that had prolonged the country's instability.
A continued small Somali National Army in terms of numbers, plus a small armed force from friends is a very dangerous underdose that has caused the chronic sickness of insecurity of Somalia. In fact, Al-Shabaab is a very weak force. Otherwise, all this time and space you have given them, by this time they would be very strong if they had a healthy embryo that could grow. This is my opinion.
On his part, His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, expressed deep appreciation to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the people of Uganda for their warm hospitality and steadfast support towards the stabilization and recovery of Somalia.
I would also like to express my deep appreciation to the troop contributing countries of the African Transmission Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, AUSOM, and all our partners for their unwavering commitment and support in the fight against terrorism. Together, we have accomplished great success and much more needs to be done in eradicating Al-Shabaab from Somalia and from the region. Our pursuit of a peaceful and stable future remains to be a top priority, and the role played by our countries have been indispensable in providing us with your time, resources, and your very lives. We honor your sacrifices, and we assure you that it is not in vain.
It is paramount to consolidate those gains in making AUSOM fully operational. In the same vein, the federal government of Somalia should speed up the fourth generation process for more sustainable frontline positions of the Somali security forces. The Commission also urged the federal government of Somalia to pursue its political efforts in the state institution building processes. This will certainly include a greater inclusivity at the level of the National Consultation Council with the participation of all federal states. And we recognize here that His Excellency President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud has convened a meeting early May to invite all federal states to come and start dialogue with him and with the federal government. We congratulate President Hassan Sheikh for that. Your Excellency, Somalia has been at the top of the African Union peace agenda close to 20 years now. Despite the financial challenges, the African Union will continue to support peace and stability in Somalia.
In conclusion, Chairperson Yusuf reiterated the African Union Commission's dedication to the success of AUSOM and the broader mission of achieving lasting peace and stability in Somalia. Marion Awori for UBC.
Thank you very much there, Marion Awori. Now, the Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Biabakama, says he is not bothered by the abnormal numbers registered by political parties in their members' registers, since it will not affect the National Voters Register. A recent newspaper publication indicated that political parties in Uganda have a combined membership that is more than the entire population of the country. Let's hear more in this report.
I hereby officially launch the National Resistance Movement Electoral Roadmap.
Recently, the National Resistance Movement said they have 20.5 million members. National Unity Platform boasted of having 10 million members, just like the Forum for Democratic Change Party, also putting its membership at 10 million people. UPC and DP plus other political parties also have their own share of the members. Yet, Uganda's entire population is 45.9 million people, with the majority being under the voting age of 18 years. These statistics shocked the nation, with people wondering if the numbers were just exaggerated or people played double standards, since the number of voters in Uganda by National Electoral Commission is likely to be below 20 million people. The Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Biabakama, however, says he's not bothered by these abnormal statistics by political parties.
I think that question should be put to the political parties. Are these numbers of yours authentic really or not? But for us, we do not go by on the basis of the numbers of the members of the registered political parties. Ours is a register of citizens of 18 years and above who are willing to participate in the electoral process. The political parties can register people who are not even registered voters. They are their members. But for us, what we're interested in is X or Y or Z a registered voter on the NVR or not.
Biabakama made the remarks as he announced commencement of nationwide display of voters register ahead of 2026 general elections. The display exercise that commenced today, Friday, will last for 21 days till 15th of May.
In preparation for the said general elections, and in accordance with Section 26 of the Electoral Commission Act, the Electoral Commission has appointed the period of 25th April, which is today, up to the 15th of May, as the period for the statutory display of the National Voters Register.
To allow the voters cross-check their personal details, object wrongful inclusions, and remove dead ones from the registrar.
They can also raise an objection that this person no longer resides in this parish or does not originate from our parish. So why are they in this register? They do not, this person does not reside or originate from this parish. Then 4, if a vote appears more than once on the register, then that person should also be recommended for removal. So these are the 4 categories that people are supposed to recommend for removal.
According to Biabakama, some polling stations in about 15 districts have failed to kick off the display exercise due to technical challenges. And the EC chairman has assured the voters in those areas that they will undertake their exercise once the technical challenges are addressed.
The Commission, however, wishes to affirmatively assure all voters and all stakeholders in those areas that they too will be accorded the full statutory 21 days for display of the register when it commences.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has expressed a prayer that parents seriously take their responsibility of nurturing and guiding their children well, because it is a God-given mandate. As a first term comes to an end, Mrs. Museveni appreciated teachers for their selfless service. As we hear more.
Aware our children are returning home for holidays after their term 1, I therefore take this opportunity, first of all, to thank our foot soldiers, the teachers, for their selfless service, and to wish our children a restful and blessed time with their parents and guardians at home. I urge parents to utilize the holiday time with the children to guide and nurture them. Instill those values that only you can. The Bible teaches us in Proverbs 22, verse 6, in quotes, train up a child in the way he should go, even when he's old, he will not depart from it, unquote. Education is a shared responsibility, and it is my prayer that every parent will take this God-given mandate seriously. It is the only way we will disciple the next generation. When the parents are present in the lives of their children, children grow up secure and confident. This enhances their ability to learn, and together we are able to raise a responsible citizen in our country.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has condoled with the Catholic community in Uganda and the rest of the world upon the loss of the Holy Father Pope Francis, referring to him as a peacemaker who dared to have a stable world and humanity.
In a very rare occasion, the Friday afternoon Requiem Mass at Ruaka Cathedral was characterized by burning candles, with the late Pope Francis portraits being displayed. All this as hundreds of Ugandans congregated for a requiem mass of the late Pope Francis, who passed away on Monday night. The liturgy was led by the Pope Nuncio to Uganda, His Excellency Archbishop Luigi Bianco.
And we are here to remember and to pray for the late Pope Francis.
Archbishop Bianco remarked how the late Pope's visit to Uganda and Luwaga Cathedral in particular was significant in the growth of faith and the church at large.
Some words about his legacy and teaching. His teaching was simple. He was used to repeat many times the same messages, the same ideas.
When it comes to peace, it is given to the Pope that he was a man who loved to see peaceful families, homes and nations.
Another important word of this message is peace. How it is necessary, it is urgent to be artisans of peace in our world when there are many conflicts, wars, violence.
The Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, represented the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, at this requiem mass.
Your Eminence, it is with profound sadness that I have received the news of the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of Uganda, and on my own behalf, I extend our deepest and most heartfelt condolences to you and through you to the entire Catholic Church worldwide.
The President's eulogy, which has already been shared with the Rome, defined the late pontiff as one who ran a good and fulfilling race.
His Holiness Pope Francis will be remembered as an extraordinary spiritual leader and a deeply respected theologian whose unwavering commitment to the faith revitalized the Church's mission in an increasingly secular world. His voice for peace, social justice, compassion, and humility touched the hearts of millions and inspired hope among the faithful.
Former Nuncio Augustine Kaswicha, Kinda Mityana Diocese Bishop, Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Anthony Ziwa, Right Reverend Obo, and Uganda Kingdom Speaker joined the mourners.
Pope Francis was a humble man of God. His life is a testimony to simplicity.
Pope Francis traveled extensively, undertaking 47 apostolic journeys across the globe. We gratefully acknowledge and remember his visit to Uganda in 2015 when he inspired us to be close to God.
Politicians across all divides, including Opposition National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, leader of opposition in Parliament Joel Ssenyonyi, attended the requiem mass.
Just as the President said, we should always carry forward his message of love. We should always carry forward his message of unity, and we should always carry forward his message of peace.
The late Pope Francis will be laid to rest at a colorful and historical event held on Saturday, 26th April 2025. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has called on South Sudan political leaders to embrace a dialogue and peace as a gift to the late Pope Francis, who wished to see sanity restored in the world's youngest country.
It is 8:30 a.m. Friday, 25th April 2025, and the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, is seen here arriving at Luwaga Cathedral in Kampala for Pope Francis' eulogy. He was received by Reverend Father Achilles Mayanja and went straight to Sunday condolence book.
He kissed the feet of those people who are fighting in Sudan. Unfortunately, at his death, these guys are still fighting. Let us pray that maybe when he goes to heaven, we will continue to pray for peace in Africa, peace in the whole world.
I think This is one value which as a country, and that's why I got a stronger connection with him through our advocacy for pro-life. We believe that no child should lose their life. And Pope Francis was working with us legislators to ensure that we put in place legislations across the globe that can protect the lives of the unborn children.
Eulogising the late Pope Francis, Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa referred to him as a servant whose hand touched everybody regardless of their status and religion.
Because he impacted on Muslims, he impacted on Anglicans, he impacted on believers, he even impacted on non-believers. So we do hope that indeed through his death we shall be able to remind ourselves that these great works cannot just go and die like that, but should be rewarded by doing what he was preaching. He preached mercy, he preached kindness, he preached service for the underprivileged. And I do hope it's a reminder for us leaders that indeed those are the people we should serve most. They are the most deserving.
In line with this, Tayebwa has decided to grace the historical burial happening at Vatican on Saturday, 26th April 2025.
Personally, I'll be going to the Vatican for burial to ensure that I say bye to the friend of humanity. I want to thank him in a special way for visiting Uganda and for always praying for Uganda, but most importantly for praying for areas that are in conflict. I saw how even in hospital, even in his hospital bed, every day he would be doing a Zoom call, I don't know, Zoom or WhatsApp call, with the community in Gaza, praying for peace. I hope the world would listen to his request and to his pleas for peace.
According to Mr. Tayebwa, environmental conservation and preservation has been the pontiff's wish.
You can see how nature pays back, how it fights for its space. The moment you confront it, it fights back badly. And the Pope was very, very clear about that.
At a personal level, Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa has lived to testify the pontiff's blessings, having met him at the Vatican.
Whenever you could meet the Holy Father, his humility was disarming. And he had that sense of humor. He would crack a joke at anything around you. So he made me a better person, both at family level and at a personal level. And I really believe that I'm a better leader because of engaging with him.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Jubilations and excitement have rocked Tororo town as hundreds of locals poured into streets to celebrate President Museveni's approval of 3 new districts and a city officially carved out of the greater Tororo. Let's hear more in this report.
Following President Museveni's approval of 3 new districts and a city carved out of Greater Tororo, jubilations have erupted across the district. Crowds cheering, ululations and traditional dances, residents poured into the streets of Tororo, paralyzing business in town for hours. But what exactly is driving this wave of excitement and celebration?
We have almost 700 kilometers of road with only 1 road equipment. Now with the 3 districts, it means we shall be having 3 graders and 1 of course in the city. And this is all development for us.
The city now comes with enormous opportunity. One of the opportunities is a regional hospital that is going to come in here with this city.
City comes with the specific plan. We must now plan to have what we call city and industrial area.
Despite the excitement, the creation of new administrative units is already triggering political realignments. A number of political figures are shifting their ambitions to align with the new structures. Former Ambassador Phoebe Awere Otala is among those who have changed course. Initially eyeing the Tororo woman MP seat, she now has her eyes on the newly created Tororo city seat.
We've been longing for so much time that we'll get our city. This is a long-awaited city, and I'm declaring to be the first woman member of parliament for Tororo city. I have been waiting for this, and I want to thank His Excellency the President for taking up the decision to make sure that there is harmony and peace in Tororo. Long live President Yoweri Museveni, long live NRM, long live Ambassador Phil.
But political analysts warn that the creation of the new units adds pressure on incumbents. Those who previously rode on the promise of district division to gain political mileage now have little left to say.
We have been using the question of the district as a mileage. I know there are some politicians who are very worried. Strategies must change. And I say, with what we have registered, with what has come out today or yesterday, the political landscape has automatically changed. People are going back to the drawing board. New players have emerged.
Juma also notes that the timing of the division could work to the advantage of the ruling party in the 2026 elections.
President Museveni has not been doing well in Tororo. But let me tell you, with what has come out yesterday, President Museveni is likely to shoot up by over 70% in the next general elections.
Beyond the political implications, residents believe the new administrative units are long overdue. Many hope the changes will not only end long-standing tribal tensions between the Japadola and Iteso communities, but also help bridge service delivery gaps that have left many underserved. Crispus Adenitwe, UBC News.
Now, State Minister for Works and Transport, Musa Echweru, has advised investors to prioritize employing local communities when they start factories. Echweru was presiding over the groundbreaking of a 4-kilometer road construction of Itracombe fertilizer factory in Kampiringisa.
Under the directive of President Yoweri Museveni, the Ministry of Works and Transport has embarked on construction of a 4-kilometer road to Itracombe Fertilizers Factory in Kampiringisa Sub-County, Kamengo, Mpigi District. This factory will be constructed on a piece of land that was leased by government from Kampiringisa remand homeland in a move to improve investment in the country. Officiating the groundbreaking, State Minister for Works and Transport Musa Echweru said the government has facilitated all the work and appealed to the investor to deliver what is expected of them.
You investor, don't put anything here. The fuel will be got by government. The fuel will be got by government. Everything that is needed here, we shall put it as government. Your business is just to start the factory.
Echweru advised the investor to employ 50% local manpower to encourage their support to the factory and cautioned people over stealing materials.
First, consider Kamengo. If they can constitute about 50% of the employees, then you can bring this Bateso, you can also now bring some people from Kisoro and another parts to be the other 50%. But Kamengo alone, this area of Mpigi should be 50% of the employees.
Sam Akol, the chairperson of Kamengo Sub-County, appealed to the minister to lobby for them power, which remains a challenge in the area.
The problem is the power. There's less power in the area, which means that we may need more transformers to strengthen the factory and the community.
I want to talk to my colleagues in the Ministry of Energy to make sure that the factory receives the necessary power. To make sure that my people from the Ministry of Water make sure that it is connected to the factory premises.
Bijirimana Jenlok, the country representative of Itracombe Fertilizers Limited to Uganda, commended President Museveni for allowing them work in Uganda and pledged to deliver quality fertilizers using local materials.
The fertilizer we are going to do, it has been tested and it has been approved. We have all document which shows how it has been approved. It will not affect any crops. Insisted it will improve the production of the crops.
Some of the locals welcome the development in the area.
This road has been a challenge to us with a lot of potholes, but we thank the government for remembering us. Since the road has been worked on, I implore the communities to use it productively.
If it wasn't NRM government, we couldn't have this development in our area.
The 4-kilometer road construction will be done in 2 phases of Maram and Tarmac, with the first phase expected to be accomplished in 3 weeks. Brian Tumwinebiaruhanga, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN, regulated by UCC.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has 2 subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amazina ganje Tayebwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri ndio muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko ka ndio muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nebya bafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ko nazihangwira.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
And in our next segment, the Ministry of Health is to introduce soft skills into the health training curriculum in order to enhance health professional growth. This was revealed by Minister for Health, Dr. Jan Rotha Cheng, while officiating Lito Winnie Foundation's First National Soft Skills in Healthcare.
Recognizing the central role of soft skills in quality health care, the Ministry of Health has taken steps to institutionalize their development in health trainings.
We have introduced soft skills into the National Self-Care Curriculum, and together with the Ministry of Education, we are reviewing the curriculum of health training institutions to give greater emphasis to these competencies. And one of the documents where you'll find this in is the National Life Skills Framework, which will have a curriculum for training all the way from the nursery schools up to the tertiary level.
The soft skills are to help health professionals relate with service recipient and reduce on the rudeness and indiscipline among health workers.
So in this conference, we are reciting how healthcare professionals who do not have soft skills will not give services to the satisfaction of their clients. It is commonplace to hear people complain about rude health workers, absent health workers, conflicts between health workers, late coming, and so on. So all these are things are emanating from our understanding of deficiencies. These are deficiencies in soft skills.
However, training in soft skills has encountered a number of challenges, such as insufficient funding, among others.
So many times we want, actually when you look at onto the vision of LWF, is we want to see soft skills go to every level healthcare provider in this country. But so many times we are limited. You find that you want to go to Kaparabong, you want to go to Barara, deep down into those different public facilities, but you find providers don't have internet, they don't have smartphones. So realize you're limited in a way that you can't impact them, you can't speak to them because they don't have the gadgets, they don't have the internet, and of course also your budget is not able to help you access, help them, enable them to get these trainings and everything.
Under the theme adopting soft skills to enhance health professional growth and patient-centered care, the conference explains soft skills as traits that make health professionals unique. Winnie Ainembabas Katwire for UBC.
The resident city commissioner of Rubaga, Henry Kitambula, has intervened in a long land dispute between a once Tayebwa Nanunji and Yamaha Center businessman Godfrey Muhirwa. Mr. Kitambula eventually resolved the issue by urging both sides to reach an agreement by Monday next week.
The meeting that convened at Godfrey Muhirwa's Yamaha Center building premises was attended by the district of Rubaga, Ndeba residents, and area chairpersons where the land is situated. Muhirwa arrived first, and 30 minutes later, Stella Bosa Nanunji, accompanied by her lawyers, also arrived at the meeting venue. The RCC Rubaga Henry Kitambula said a memorandum of understanding was reached between the two conflicting parties to carry out a mapping survey to demarcate boundaries after the dispute escalated. This prompted him to write to the commissioner at the Ministry of Lands to survey the plots.
Asatu Januari omwaka guno nawandikira Commissioner wa Surveys and Mapping namusaba ajja tuyamba okuggulawo empenda ku plots ziri nnya.
The surveyor thus kick-started with the exercise on the 4 plots, including plot 90, 91 and 302, owned by Stella Bosa Nanunji, as well as plot 92 that belongs to Godfrey Muhirwa, all located on Block 7. On March 3, 2025, Jasper Kakoza, a commissioner from Ministry of Lands, declared the completion of the mapping.
Omukulu Jasper Kakoza nampandikira ebbaluwa ng'alaga nti okusinziira ku bbaluwa gye nali muwandiikidde ko waggulu baagukola bulungi nnyo awatali buzibu bwonna.
Iri plot 91 kiyingira mu plot 92 by meters 1.7 meters. Obuwanvu like okudda eri emabega ziri mita 2.175. Kali katundu ka decimal naye nga 0.8 kumpi utundu bubiri okuweza decimal. Netukizuula nti n'ekizimbe oba developments ezakolebwa yali a developing a plot 92 naye yayingira mu plot 302 by 2.4 meters and 11.3 meters by 2.4 meters and 11.3 meters.
Later, either side was asked about the final plan, to which Muhira had no objection to negotiations.
Ensonga y'okukkaanya njagala nnyo singa mba ntegeraganye ne mwannyina zoono ne muganda ne mutabani wange nga mu kukkaanya okutuufu. Naye nze naalisabye ebyokutwala emmanju neno tuteese bwetti tugende mukwase emmanju nanga nkwase ewange omusaveya wanaaba atulaze.
However, Nanungi asked for more time to think through.
Era tetulina buzibu bwekyo kasita kunaabanga kwerufu kyekyo kyokka.
The RCC therefore advised both sides as a final decision will be made in Monday's meeting at his office.
So the encroachment is not so big because it's less than a decimal. So what we have resolved is that on Monday we sit down the two parties and then agree. We have been guided by the technical people, especially the government surveyor, that the two titles can even be amalgamated, and after amalgamation they can be again subdivided, putting in place new measurements for each plot as the parties may agree. And we have no doubt that on Monday this matter that has been on for some time is going to come to an end.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Now, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Dr. Kedris Turiagenda, has warned about the blood clots and mental illness that are causing deaths without urgent investigations. Turiagenda stressed this at a fourth graduation ceremony of the School of Psychiatric Clinical Officers in Botabika.
Yes.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, Kedris Turiagenda, has highlighted the increasing death caused by blood clots and rising rates of isolation and loneliness, especially among youth post-college. Kedris Turiagenda stressed this at the fourth graduation ceremony at the School of Psychiatric Clinical Officers, Botabika.
Progressively, we are getting more young people getting problems. And you have them here. And they have degrees, and they are driven in good cars. So they are coming from good homes. They are not hungry. It's not the hunger that has stressed them. So we look to you to really help us. To help us with helping those who are already sick and with you as patients, but also to help us in prevention. And I'm glad, as we chatted before now, that you are working with us and Minister of Health to see that we can come up with a preventive measure.
Kedris Turiagenda highlighted the increasing family breakdowns and stress causing emotional and mental strain. She urged graduates to help the growing mental health burden.
We need people who are going to expose those who sell the drugs so that they can be dealt with. There is this now new thing that has come, that they put drugs in daddies, those little small cakes, and in bread, and in all kinds of things. There is madness that is happening. So we need to come up as a community which is here today and say no to drugs, because drugs contribute to the mental health issues that we experience.
Principal Mbabazi Atwakire, Jolly Grace, urged government to expand infrastructure due to high demand for mental health professionals.
We need to be able to process our own title. We request to consider these staff who are on a governing council payroll to be put on government payroll. They also enjoy the government payroll. Then I also appeal to the government to consider increasing the allocation of capitation grant. Is not enough.
Graduates were urged to desist from unethical practices to build a successful career.
I want to take the same opportunity to congratulate our graduates. As someone of us has already said, if we had not studied well and passed, this day would have not been a reality. Thank you very much for working very hard. And your parents, thank you very much for educating these young people, preparing them as good citizens for our country.
The School of Psychiatric Officers Butabika is the only specialized school offering psychiatric competences in the country. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Nkumba University Friday evening held an open-air campaign ahead of its 31st Guild election set to usher in the new student leadership. The campaigns follow weeks of intense electoral activities that will culminate in voting scheduled for Saturday, April 26, 2025.
3 candidates are contesting the Guild president seat: Katende Mohammed, Independent; Alinda Marvin, NRM; and Mawanda Derrick, Independent.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, tomorrow is the day that we are going to decide the next year at Nkumba University. We have the sole responsibility to take part in the building and the building of the leadership of our community.
The university's electoral commission encourages all eligible students, those who have paid at least 80% of the tuition fees and hold a valid university ID, to participate in the voting process.
You must have paid 20% as your constitution states of your fees. Then you must be having an identity card that will prove that you are the real, either Kumuli Christopher or someone else. Then you will be allowed to vote.
You are required to come and speak to the student fraternity about your mandate.
This call aims to foster civic leadership and promote good political stewardship within the university community and beyond. Voting is scheduled for 26th of April 2025 and will take place at the University's School of Sciences Auditorium.
This is Diamond Platinums. Just want to confirm to you that May 24th I'll be performing live at Africa Coffee Park for Coffee Marathon concert, and Diamond Platinums will be performing live. So tell all Mukos, Lion Simba is coming, gonna have fun, gonna celebrate.
Grab your kit, grab your shoes, because we are running at the Coffee Marathon in Tungamo on the 24th of May. And if running is not your thing, you can show up for the vibes. As we close the day at the Coffee Concert with live performances from Diamond Platinums, Sister Charity, and Reggie. Visit www.coffeemarathonug.com to register now for just 30,000 shillings. Your fee includes a marathon kit and full access to the concert. The Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women out of poverty. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
Hey, Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family? Mugina kudikidamu? Oh no. Hey. We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it. And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections together. What about these young men? I can see you. These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote. Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register. Okay. See you at the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
To the world of business, in a continent brimming with potential, yet grappling with deep economic and social challenges, one organization is lighting the way for individuals and businesses alike. From job seekers to seasoning professionals, Root International Limited is equipping Africa with essential soft skills. Their training covers 3 key areas: employability skills, business skills, and life skills. Let's hear more from Sandra Kahunde.
Recognizing the central role of soft skills.
We introduced soft skills into the national self-care curriculum, and together with the Ministry of Education, we are reviewing the curriculum of health training institutions to give greater emphasis to these competencies. And one of the documents where you'll find this in is the National Life Skills Framework, which will have a curriculum for training all the way from the nursery schools up to the tertiary level.
The soft skills are to help health professionals relate with service recipient and reduce on the rudeness and indiscipline among health workers.
So in this conference, we are reciting how healthcare professionals who do not have soft skills will not give services to the satisfaction of their clients. It is commonplace to hear people complain about rude health workers, absent health workers, conflicts between health workers, late coming, and so on. So all these are things are emanating from our understanding of deficiency.
Now, the Executive Secretary of Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board, UVTAB, Onesmus Oyesije, has acknowledged that the merger of Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, UVTAB, and the Directorate of Industrial Training, DIT, has significantly increased public anticipation. Mr. Oyesije was addressing the first meeting for Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board with area coordinators, during which he expressed his trust in the ability of the public to place confidence in them regardless of the situation.
Today marks the first meeting for Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board with area coordinators since the merger of Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board and the Directorate of Industrial Training. The purpose of the meeting is to sensitize the coordinators about their roles in ensuring no errors are made moving forward. Executive Secretary of Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board, Onesmus Oyesije, emphasized that the merger has strengthened their workforce, giving them a more capable team to deliver on their promises.
The effect of the merger has increased our load and the public expectation. And it requires that we must double our effort to ensure that we deliver our mandate now, in as far as assessment is concerned. So, as we settle down and we get the board, we are going to recruit more staff to run the secretariat, because areas have been expanded.
Onesmus also called on institutions that have not yet registered to do so that all processes can proceed smoothly.
Those which are not registered, we'll have to take, others would take 6 months, others would take 10 months to organize themselves, so that by the time the council is in place, they are able to apply and they are accredited under those strict conditions. And I'm sure you know why we want to register them. Others have been, being that everybody is involved in skilling, but at the end of it all, there is no impact. And I think with the council in place, with the law in place, we shall really get out what we want.
Additionally, Oyesije urged the area supervisors to work closely with the governing body, stressing the importance of collaboration for successful outcomes. He highlighted the efforts they have made to address malpractices and expressed optimism for achieving the best possible results in the future.
This is aimed at sensitizing and engaging heads of assessment centers, candidates, to guard against involvement in malpractice cases. And now this one has been covered well in the new Act under sections 102 up to 108.
Cayenne Faith, Chontawaide Proscovia, for ABC.
Well, that's it from us. Thank you very much for sticking with us right from 8 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma. It's a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'd love to take this opportunity to thank our President, Yoweri Kaguta Turihabura Museveni, by coming up with a Myoga program. We started in 2021 as Kasui Parish Carpenters and Myoga Circle. When we received this amount of 30 million, we had a problem, we had a challenge of machines. We used to carry our wood and we would carry it up to Waise to be worked on. So when we got this chance, we are able to buy machines to ease our work of carpentry. At the moment, we are a number composed of 140 members. We have the women who come in and do saloon chairs. We have the men doing 3-drawer tables, 2-drawer tables, and different kind of furniture. Before the Myoga program came in, we had a lot of crimes taking place on this road. When this Myoga program came up, we managed to collect these youths. We gave them hope that you can change.